to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into stream of consciousness journaling. We've got a really interesting mix of your sources here, YouTube clips, blog posts, even a research article.
Yeah, quite the collection.
And our mission really is to unpack it. What is this thing? Why is it potentially useful? And, how can you actually do it without it feeling like just another chore?
Exactly. We're diving into that unfiltered flow of the mind. At its heart, stream of consciousness journaling is, well, it's about getting your thoughts and feelings down just as they pop up.
Okay.
No editing, no structure worries. Think of it like capturing your inner monologue on paper, or maybe you record it, whatever works.
Right. So why should you, listening now, care about this? Well, maybe you're looking for some mental clarity.
Yeah.
Or perhaps a creative boost.
Or just a way to handle emotions, maybe understand yourself a bit better.
Yeah, this practice seems to offer a pretty direct path for all that. We'll pull out the practical stuff, the surprising bits. Okay, so let's get specific. What really defines this stream of consciousness approach?
Well, looking at the sources, a few key things stand out. First, it's meant to be spontaneous, just a continuous flow, ideally.
Uninterrupted.
Right. The idea is to just let things emerge. Second, and this is a big one, you basically ignore the usual rules. Grammar, punctuation, perfect sentences.
Forget about it.
Pretty much. It's about the raw expression. Unfiltered.
Okay, no grammar police.
Yeah.
That's already appealing. Feels like less pressure.
Exactly. It's capturing your inner world, honestly. Another thing is it's nonlinear. Our minds jump around, right?
Oh, definitely. Mine does anyway.
And this style of journaling reflects that. So you'll get, spontaneous thoughts, weird connections, maybe you go off on tangents.
And that's okay.
That's totally okay. It's part of it. Characterizes the whole thing, really.
That makes sense. Thoughts aren't exactly neat and tidy. Now, something that came up a lot in the materials was brain dump. Is that basically the same idea?
In a lot of ways, yeah. Brain dump really highlights that first step, just getting it out.
Just unload.
Yeah. Talk or write. Don't overthink. Don't censor. And the sources pointed out the medium. Doesn't really matter at first. Pen, paper, computer.
Use notes even. I saw Google Docs has that now.
Exactly. That's a great point. From the sources makes it super accessible if you prefer talking. It's about externalizing what's inside.
And it's private, right?
Yeah.
The sources stress that. A safe space.
Absolutely fundamental. It's your space. Don't cross out, don't delete. That was consistent advice.
Even if you're stuck, just write, I'm stuck.
Or talk about being stuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep the pen moving, keep talking. Sometimes, apparently, that rambling leads somewhere interesting later.
Okay, so get it out. No judgment in the moment. But writing isn't everyone's go-to method, is it?
Especially now, we see this particularly with younger generations, Gen Z maybe, who are just so used to voice notes, recording things. Talking feels more natural.
And if the method itself feels like a chore or like a barrier,
then it defeats the purpose.
Exactly. It stops being this free-flowing thing, which is where AI audio journaling comes in as a really interesting alternative.
Okay, let's break that down. AI audio journaling. So instead of writing,
you speak. You just talk your thoughts and feelings out loud into an AI tool.
Still aiming for that raw, uncensored flow, but using your voice.
Right. And these aren't just simple voice memos. The AI part adds some pretty cool layers.
Like what can the AI do?
Well, a lot of them offer real-time transcription. So you speak, it types it out.
Okay, useful.
Some have voice modulation, though that's maybe less relevant for pure stream of consciousness. But the big things are emotional analysis.
So it can tell the feeling behind the words.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Sentiment analysis. It looks for the underlying emotional tone. And AI summaries, this is maybe the most powerful bit. It can help you spot recurring themes or patterns in what you've said.
Ah, okay. I can see how that connects back to you, the listener, especially if you want those aha moments without digging through pages of text.
Precisely. Imagine just talking freely, maybe for 10 minutes, and then getting a summary highlighting key themes or emotions that came up. So like a shortcut to reflection.
And the convenience factor. You're not tied to a desk. You could do it while walking, commuting.
Anywhere, anytime. We saw comments from users saying exactly that, using it to process thoughts on the go.
Yeah.
It fits into life more easily for some people.
Which links back to that idea of natural expression. If speaking feels more intuitive for you than writing.
Which it does for many, especially, as you said, younger people who grew up talking to their devices.
Right.
Then this could be a much smoother way in. Some even suggest speaking might lead to faster emotional processing because you're actually vocalizing it. There's an energy there.
Okay, so are there specific tools for this?
Yeah, we came across one app called Chosn. It seems specifically designed as an AI journaling app.
Chosn, okay.
And it apparently has this feature called brain dump mode,
Brain dump mode. That sounds perfect for this.
doesn't it? It sounds like it's literally built for that stream of consciousness recording, like doing your morning pages, but spoken, just letting it all out without interruption.
So it connects directly back to those original principles.
Absolutely. Whether you write or speak, the core goal is the same. Get the unfiltered thoughts out. No judgment. Clear the mental decks.
Release emotions, gain self-awareness.
Exactly. What about the payoffs? What are the actual, mental and emotional benefits?
This is where it gets really interesting. Stress relief came up a lot.
Just the act of expressing it.
Yeah, writing it down or saying it out loud, it can genuinely lower stress. And beyond that, it seems to boost overall mental health.
How so?
Well, by doing it regularly, you might start seeing patterns, track moods, maybe spot triggers for certain feelings. And it gives you a space to practice, positive self-talk.
That sounds incredibly useful, especially these days.
For sure. It's also just a great outlet, emotional release, processing tough stuff. Sometimes just getting it out privately helps you move through it.
And looking back later.
Yeah, that's a big one too. Reviewing old entries gives you perspective. One source even mentioned how powerful it can be for older adults, maybe facing isolation. Helps connect current struggles with past experiences, past coping skills.
Wow, that's quite profound. Okay, so emotional well-being, stress relief. What about creativity? Self-understanding. Does it help there too?
Oh, definitely. Several sources really highlighted that connection. It seems to open up creativity, intuition.
How does that work?
Well, the idea, especially with writing by hand, is it helps quiet down the logical, analytical part of your brain.
Turns down the volume on the inner critic.
Sort of, yeah. And that lets the more intuitive, creative stuff surface. It engages both sides of the brain, potentially leading to new ways of thinking.
So that physical act of writing, pen on paper, actually makes a difference for creativity.
That's what the sources suggest, yeah. And it really boosts self-reflection, too. Writing without that filter, you might uncover things about yourself you weren't consciously aware of.
Hidden insights.
Exactly. And it can help you trust your gut feelings more, build that intuition. Oh, and for writer's block, could be a game changer.
Oh.
Because the focus shifts entirely. It's not about polished writing, it's just about generating ideas. Raw material.
Okay, I'm really starting to see the potential here.
Mm-hmm.
But, practically speaking, how does someone actually start if you've never done this?
Really good question. The key seems to be making it a routine. Pick a time.
Like morning or before bed.
Yeah, whatever works for you. First thing to clear your head or end of day to process. Even 5 or 10 minutes can be beneficial, apparently.
Small chunks.
Small chunks. And make your writing space comfortable, inviting. That helps.
Like a favorite chair or a specific notebook.
Exactly that. And then you just start. Write whatever pops into your head.
What if nothing pops in? Blank page panic.
Happens. One source suggested just writing, I don't know what to write, over and over.
Really?
Yeah, just keeping the hand moving or keep the recording going. It often breaks the dam. Or use prompts.
Ah, prompts. Like what?
Simple things, like describe sounds you hear but can't see. Or personify a color. Think about a favorite moment from the day. Or even just a quote that stuck with you. Explore that.
That sounds like a good way to get the ball rolling. Less intimidating.
Definitely. They can really jumpstart things. And remember, don't worry if it makes sense at first.
Just get it out.
Just get it out. Embrace repetition, too. If you keep writing the same thing, it shows what's on your mind.
Interesting.
And play with the length. Maybe try for 3 pages like Julia Cameron suggests. Or just set a timer, 5, 10, 15 minutes. See what feels right.
Those are really practical tips. Now, privacy came up again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And not judging what you write. Why is that so crucial?
It seems absolute core to the whole thing. The advice is strong. Don't show it to anyone, at least not initially.
Creates that safety net.
Exactly. Lets you be totally honest, unfiltered, without worrying about what someone else might think. Some sources even suggested, destroying it if privacy is a concern, burning it, shredding it.
Wow, okay. That really emphasizes it's for you.
It does. It reinforces that safe space idea, allows real vulnerability. And then, if you do look back later, maybe wait a couple of months, get some distance. Do it without judgment.
No self-criticism.
Right. Look for, as one blog post put it, the nuggets of gold. Those little insights hidden in maybe what looks like rambling.
Nuggets of gold. I like that. Okay, we talked pen and paper, but what about typing or voice recording? Pros and cons.
Good point. Each has its own feel. Handwriting, as mentioned, has that slowness, connects you to emotions, might keep the inner critic quieter. plus no digital distractions.
Right. More focus, maybe deeper emotionally. What about typing?
Well, it's convenient for many people, right?
Mm.
Faster for some. And voice recording, super flexible.
Do it anywhere.
Pretty much. On a walk, in the car. And for some, speaking feels more natural, less inhibited than writing. Might lead to faster emotional processing.
And listening back later.
Yeah, that can be really insightful, hearing your own voice, noticing patterns, tracking how you've changed over time.
That makes sense. And speaking of voice journaling, one of the research pieces you shared got into the brain science behind it. That sounds fascinating.
It really is. When you talk your thoughts out like that, a whole network in your brain lights up. You've got the language areas, obviously Broca's, Wernicke's.
Or forming the words.
Right? Then memory and organizing thoughts. That involves the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. And your emotions are being processed too, involving the amygdala, anterior cingulate cortex, the insula.
So it's not just talking, it's actively processing feelings.
Exactly. Plus, the physical act of speaking uses motor control areas, primary motor cortex, cerebellum, basal ganglia.
It's amazing how much is going on for something that feels relatively simple.
It is. And your brain is even self-monitoring the auditory cortex processes you hearing yourself. The prefrontal cortex evaluates. Plus, the default mode network, the introspection part of the brain, is active.
And you mentioned a reward feeling.
Yeah, potentially. Expressing things, especially if it feels insightful or cathartic, might trigger dopamine pathways. That reward system gives you that feeling of satisfaction, maybe clarity.
Wow. That's a complex process underpinning it all. Now, briefly, AI audio journaling tools were mentioned. What's the initial take on those?
It's definitely a new frontier. These tools offer things like automatic transcription, maybe analyzing your emotional tone.
Analyzing your emotions.
Yeah, that's the idea. It could potentially enhance reflection by pointing out patterns or dominant feelings in your recordings.
Helpful, maybe, but also slightly weird.
It does raise questions, doesn't it? Convenience versus, I don't know, maybe outsourcing some self-reflection.
Yeah.
And privacy is always a consideration with AI. So it's interesting developing, but something to approach thoughtfully.
Good point. Yeah. Okay, for people who already journal in some way, how can they weave this stream of consciousness stuff in?
Lots of ways, actually. The sources suggested a hybrid approach could work well.
Like mix and match.
Exactly. Maybe start structured with prompts, then let yourself drift into free-flow writing, or use stream of consciousness as a warm-up.
Clear the mental clutter first.
Yeah. Get the surface stuff out before you dive deeper, or do short bursts of it within a structured session if you get stuck, or even after structured writing, use it to reflect more freely on what came up.
So it's flexible. Find what works for your existing practice.
Totally.
Yeah.
And speaking of specific practices, morning pages came up quite a bit. Julia Cameron's thing. Can you remind us what that involves?
Right. Morning pages. It's very specific. 3 pages, handwritten, first thing in the morning.
3 pages. Wow.
Yeah. And the focus is pure release. Get everything out of your head. Good, bad, random, no editing, no rereading right away.
Just dump it all out to start the day fresh.
That's the idea. Clear the mental decks. Some people apparently do multiple rounds if they need a deeper release.
Sounds intense, but maybe really effective, like emptying the mental inbox first thing. Now, any potential roadblocks people might hit? Challenges? Yeah, a couple were mentioned. Discipline, for one. Sticking with it. And focused staying in the moment, not just ruminating.
Staying present.
Right. And also, that initial discomfort. Being that unfiltered can feel weird at first, especially if you're used to self-editing.
So be patient with yourself.
Exactly. Persist. Allow yourself that private, non-judgmental space. Let the thoughts just be.
Okay, well, this has been incredibly insightful, a real deep dive into this practice. As we wrap up, what are the absolute key takeaways for our listener?
I think the main thing is that stream of consciousness journaling is it's a really flexible and powerful tool for expressing yourself, getting clearer mentally, boosting creativity.
And the core idea.
Just let your thoughts flow, no judgment, no strict rules, and you can adapt it. Pen, keyboard, voice, timing, make it work for you.
Makes sense. And finally, maybe a little something for you to think about after this. Now that you understand this practice better, how could giving your mind this kind of regular, unfiltered outlet actually shift your daily life, your self-awareness long term?
Yeah, what might you discover if you consistently just let that inner voice speak or write or just be?
And we'd love for you to keep exploring this. What questions do you still have? Have you tried it? What worked? What didn't?
Absolutely. Share your thoughts, your experiences. This conversation is really just a starting point for your own journey into your mind.